Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the Knock and Talk podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Angie.
And I'm Professor D. For today's episode, we'll be discussing a little about summer. So we're both on summer vacation now, and it opens up a whole entire schedule. Not that we don't have to worry about any of this online school stuff. So, Angie, what are you planning to do in this summer Corona vacation?
Um, well, it's interesting you bring up Corona, but I mean, we can talk about that later. But
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just glad I don't have to spend a couple hours every day doing homework, like writing an essay, or in class or whatever. Now I got a lot of free time to work on my hobbies and stuff like that. So I don't know. That's
But
what
it's
I've
not
been.
only that. I just when I know that I have some obligations to fulfill the next day, especially obligations that are really almost like faceless, because that's the way I see school. It's just like this impersonal set of obligations. It's very unpleasant. I don't know, very negative experiences with academia. But anyways, I find that I take on much larger tasks because if I were in school, my willingness to take on larger tasks were just completely inhibited because let's say, oh, I got school the next day, I got an essay coming up, I don't have this, so I just like fill myself up with free time with all these little tasks, and I'm just so glad like to have this freedom, this feeling of freedom. It's an experience that every kid takes with great pleasure. But unfortunately, obviously, we can't take it to that level because of the pandemic. So I guess all these big tasks will be limited roughly to the home. I don't know. What do you think? Any goals there? You got Anchi?
Well, yeah, but that's interesting what you said about the about you not wanting to take on bigger tasks or whatever because you're always like, oh, I got school the next day. But
Yeah, like even if this bigger task would take like an X amount of time, like take like a few hours, right? I still wouldn't want to do it because I know the next day I have
another
these
one.
obligations,
Yeah,
right? And that I could rather use that time, I would know that I could rather use that time to work on some kind of schoolwork, right? And if I didn't do the task that I intrinsically wanted to do, then I just feel guilty. I'd feel bad, right? And that kind of mentality just keeps playing along around the whole entire semester, just rattling around your head, and it bothered me so much. But I'm so glad to finally be liberated from that. Well, at least for a few months.
oh,
Um,
yeah, that mentality sucks. But I've seen that in you when we went to go when we were in the same school. Because I know like we would want to go to the park or something after school or meet on the weekend, and then you would be like sometimes you'd be like, oh, I gotta study for a test, or
yeah,
or it's a school
for
night or something like that. You know?
yeah, exactly. If it's a school night, if I know that right, let's say like go out on a Sunday, go to the park or something. It just doesn't feel the same as going out on a park on a Saturday or on a Friday afternoon
Yeah.
because I know that I have that the next day, and it just kind of ruins the whole entire mood because then you get a real you face like the reality of it that you're gonna have to go early to bed tonight. There's no lounging. All right, you gotta get ready. You gotta get mentally ready for that stuff. I don't know. It just never clicked with me. Never fit well with me. I was not a school person. I guess some people get pretty used to it. I never did.
Yeah, I guess I got kind of used to it, but yeah, I guess that kind of mentality sucks. Or well, not it's not like you're at fault. It's just that makes sense because the next day you have something you fucking dread. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, it just completely ruins the mentality. But I don't even know where it really came from because I don't know why I care so much about school. Because to be honest, um, I wouldn't say that I think a lot about my future much. I think more about, like in regards to career, I think more about just the usual things I think about, like what I want to learn, what I want to take on, like some kind of skills I want to work on right. But the whole entire importance of school, I feel like it just became instilled in me from a young age, and I can't quite shake it. So it's really it's in this way. It's kind of like a unexplainable, just devotion to getting this done, putting this much work into it. Until your eyes are super dry, until your eyelids are closing. Right now, you got to keep going. I don't know. It's that type of devotion. But I don't think that. I don't think that's any good, right? And when summer came around, I know that I became like the complete opposite. I was like this lazy bum, not really willing to do anything. But I feel like that's a problem among a good amount of kids today.
Wait, you were like that last summer too? Or you
Not
mean
necessarily,
earlier when you were younger?
not like earlier when I was younger. Obviously, when I got a job, when I got jobs, then I started, obviously being a bit more productive. Not only in regards to working, but I'd come home and I'd already have this feeling of being productive. All right, because I did this amount of labor or something, and I'll get this much pay for it, right? So I'm already feeling productive. And then I get home, and with this perception that I was productive so far in the day, I'd actually be even more productive afterward. Whereas when I was in school, right, and like it's been a long day, a lot of work done, I'd be the complete opposite. I'd just come home, crash, and I would just struggle to get productive again. So it's
Yeah.
I don't really know why it's that way. Um, Definitely, I mean, there are obvious differences between school and work.
Well, it could be
Um,
that you actually want to go to work, even if like maybe you didn't like your job or you did, but either way, you're working for a paycheck or something like that. But when you go to school, I feel like especially you, because I know your feelings on it. You really do not like school, or you know
no.
whatever. But anyway, when you go to
Hashtag
school,
school sucks.
yo, hashtag facts, bro. But anyway, you don't like school and you dread it, right? But work, you kind of get
Uh,
something out of it, so it could be that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's funny, but I don't think there has been like one day where I said to myself, "Wow, school was really cool today." School was
Yeah,
like this taught me something really important.
yeah,
It's always been like, "Really? I need this? Are you sure?" It's just this complete dissatisfaction along with the general bureaucratic systems of schools, especially nowadays. But I think we discussed in a previous episode to a good extent.
yeah, a bit of
Um,
it. But anyway, that no, but I actually expect you to be productive because I was talking with Mark and Nick the other day about you, right? And we were like, Dennis is one of the hardest working people we know. Like, and you like in terms of work
oh,
ethic,
thanks,
like
guys.
no, yeah, yeah. I think it's true. I think you have probably one of the strongest work ethics that of people that we know.
Yeah, it's funny sometimes, like especially if it's researching or typing an essay, like it's weird, but 2 3 hours just fly by, and you're just like, oh, it's already 2 a.m. That's insane.
Hmm.
And I don't know. I mean, it doesn't happen like every day, but I get focused in something, and it just becomes almost like an obsession. And it's the same thing with me, really. Like I think in every aspect. Whenever I play basketball, I get so like in the mood of it. Like I'm not in the mood.
You kind
Like
of zone in.
yeah, I zone in. Right. I'm not even thinking. I'm only thinking about the basketball. Right.
Yeah,
And then I finish the game. I don't realize I'm drenching wet. Right. I'm soaked in sweat. I'm like super tired. I didn't even notice it when I was playing. I was focused on getting points. That's kind of with everything. I think that just the type of mentality from like I can get really focused on something for a long time. And I think that's one thing which could be helpful is my ability to avoid being on the phone too much because I think
oh
that
yeah,
all the use of smartphones, right? We always need something different coming at us. We always need something to be interesting, to keep our attention. And in effect, we see that the attention spans are going down, right? Because nothing can match the rate of information that you're getting from a smartphone, right? It's
yeah.
insane.
Yeah, speaking of
But
that though, usually when I do a task, like, I think almost always I'm pretty distracted.
Yeah, and you know what? I mean, because I used to be, like easily distracted. Always going on the phone. What I did, I went to the far end of the house. I just closed in some cabinet or something, and went to the opposite side of the house where I'm working, and that's it. Because think of it, because now you got to be walking all the way just to get your phone. If you're feeling like what, I'll come back to this in 5 minutes, and in that time you're thinking about, do I really need to do this? Do I really need to get back to work? Like you start to recognize where you're deviating from your original plan, right? And where you shouldn't, and to elaborate, where you shouldn't be deviating from your original plan, right? Because you got to finish. For example, you got to finish an essay, right? You got to stick to it. Got to pay attention, right? And a lot of people, it's hard to do that, especially if you need to work for like 1 to 2 hours. And I think a perfect time to is a perfect way to like exercise that is that attention span. Well, is by kind of incorporating into your schoolwork, but that's quite off topic since we're this is supposed to be complete opposite about that. But summer is still, you still have free time, so there's still plenty of time to read, make some
Yeah.
analyses, summaries, and maybe follow Friendly Bookshelf, interact.
Yeah, come on. Follow Friendly Bookshelf, follow Green Top
Yeah,
Cleans.
yeah. So that's I mean that's one part though, like the short attention span thing. Another thing, I think that's just something, maybe I was just raised, kind of the way I was raised, just that conditioned my way of thinking about things. So I would get in these situations where I just start focusing on this one concept or object and stay focused on it for a long time. I don't know what I mean. There's probably thousands upon thousands of little contributions that led to that conditioning, but
Yeah,
I don't know. Just
what one of them could be. I was thinking about this because when we were talking, Mark, Nick, and I, right? I was thinking. This is what I thought. This is what I thought. One of the things that might have contributed to that, like you say, is actually school. If you think about it, because I know you really don't like school, right? So when you don't really like something, but you have to do it, you're not going to be as good as if you liked it.
mhm,
You know what I mean? So you had to work.
right.
You had to work. Kind of extra hard, and I think that probably carried over. That gave you such a strong work ethic.
That's pretty. Yeah, yeah. Actually, that does fit the pattern. Now I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like
Because I
I
remember
remember.
you telling me, like we were talking about it. I don't know when, but I remember these things. I don't know why, but we were talking about tests and stuff like that. And some people study, some people don't. Some people study a little bit, some people study a lot, right? And you were telling me, like, you walk into a test and you haven't studied, you're gonna fail, but you're surprised other people pass or whatever. So
Mhm.
like, um, so that also contributes to, like, that's like the same thing where you're not the type of person who could just walk in, on the fly. So
Oh no, absolutely
so
no
that
way.
that contributed.
I gotta hunker down. Gotta just read every word in the textbook. Read every word in the notes. I hate it. I don't know. For some reason, my brain just can't connect common sense to the material in a test. So I
Well,
just
you're
can't
probably
apply
it's
my
probably
way of thinking.
at least no, yeah, at least in part it's because you're not engaged because it's tedious. It's annoying
Yeah,
because you don't want to
it's
do
an
it.
alien. It just feels like an alien thing to me. Like
Yeah.
I'm just absorbing information from an alien world. So I gotta use whatever alien information I'm given and apply that. I can't apply my common sense. I don't know. It just doesn't work for me.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like I relate to that when especially when it's topics I don't like math, for example.
I don't know. For me, I don't know. Math for me, I'm kind of. I even like doing those math teasers. I don't know. It's math kind of. I do like math somewhat. I remember taking actually a calculus class last semester, and I really enjoyed it. It was that was a very unique experience in my academic career, um, it was actually one of the best professors I've ever had. Well, I guess
Oh, right.
teacher slash professor, whatever you want to say. Um, but it just a completely different style of teaching. One, because it wasn't guided by a textbook. And two, again, it was that from referencing a previous episode, you can see that the teacher had a lot of passion and enthusiasm for the subject. So a teacher that's passionate, enthusiastic, he or she's willing to explain every little thing where it might be a little confusing, where it might be where it's easy, right? Kind of boiling it down, refining it to such a fine teaching methods that almost every student gets it basically, and a lot of the students get good grades, and that was quite the case in the class I was in. I mean, yeah, one of the best professors I've ever had. I wish there was more teachers around like that. Um, but aside from that, I actually wanted to dive into math a little more. I wanted to, I guess, become more of a mathematician, see what it's all about.
Oh, really?
Uh, yeah.
But like,
Um,
do what? Like, would you want to read more math theory, I guess, or like books wise, like looking into it, or would you, just want to do math problems every day?
well, kind of both, and I even have such positive experiences just working out math problems on my board at home. I like have a board like with the expo markers. I don't know, my brain it just once you get into like a certain pattern, once you kind of like it taxes your reasoning capabilities to a certain extent where it's not completely confusing. Like you feel like you might have a grasp if you give it like some thought, right? So you feel like you're basically taxing your abilities the whole entire time, but um it's not throwing off your motivation. Like it doesn't confuse you to an extent that you just all right, screw this, right? So math I wanted to get more into. Also wanted to get more into literature. Obviously, that's several. That's in general just something I've been wanting to get into in the last few months, and I have been getting more books. I'm actually reading the Firm by John Grisham. I don't know if any of the viewers know that author, but so far I'm gonna say it was kind of disappointing. I don't know. It's getting a little tedious. I'm getting through the first few chapters, but it's. I feel like a lot of the books are like they're kind of like apples, right? I don't know about you, but I'm not a fan of the skin, the apple skin. Like
Like,
the best parts inside, right? It's the juicy apple, right? But the skin,
no,
yeah.
I, no,
So
I
that
like the skin of the apple.
really,
All right, well, anyway, so all right, now that we're on summer vacation, we have a lot of time. Well, I mean, you have a lot of
a
time
lot of a lot of time
for
to read. That's right.
getting into those
A lot of
things.
time to read, a lot of time to make analysis posts on Friendly
Friendly
Bookshelf.
bookshelf.
I'm excited. I'm starting to prepare a lot of content. I want to start posting more. Um, and in general, I just wanted to kind of expand my branches. As I said before, talking about mathematics. I wanted to get more into literature. Want to get more into philosophy. Um, Actually, I've been kind of like skimming through two books. So there's this book. You ever hear of Fanged Numina?
No, I have no idea what that is.
Okay, so like I've seen a lot of memes about it, which ties back to our previous episode,
Yeah,
how humor is the pathway to kind of spreading philosophical thought. But anyway, it's kind of best way I can describe it. Like it's talking. First of all, the whole entire book looks like a fever dream type of aura to it.
wait,
Um,
so who's it by?
okay, so the author is this British author called Nick Land, and the entire book is actually just these collected writings that span like 20 years, I think, and it's really focused on it's like this cyberpunk fiction. cyberpunk fiction. Cyber meaning like real a lot of technology, I assume. Well, I hope. Um, and just talking about nihilism, and also focus on accelerationism. But then there's
Oh,
this
really?
other, yeah. I actually am an accelerationist because I don't think
Yeah,
that,
we spoke about this a bit.
yeah. So I do already agree with some of his philosophies already.
Wait, so is fuck, it's not told in like a story format, right? It's like,
Honestly, I have no clue. I've read some pages. Some are just I just don't understand at all. Like you're just reading, like what? What does that mean? Other pages, you see some kind of, you see something forming. Um, it's going to be obviously a challenge if I do go into it. There's also another book that I wanted to read by this author called Mark Fisher, talking about it's called, I think, Ghost of My Life, and it's talking about um, hauntology.
oh, right,
Um,
right. I saw you posted that somewhere that you were gonna start it.
yeah, because I just started skimming through it, and because I'm like obsessed with that topic. I've actually not like thought about that kind of stuff even before I knew about that there was
Right.
an official term for it, even books for it.
Wait,
So to see it,
did you read that story I told you about that has to do with hauntology?
what story?
It's called The Gernsback Continue. It's a short story.
Mm,
It's a short story, and it's like, he kind
did
of,
you send it? Because I don't remember
yeah.
anything like that.
Well,
You sent it?
yeah, I told you about it the first time we spoke about it, but obviously, like we were talking about before the
Well,
recording, it was a while ago.
obviously 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 I forgot about it.
I'll send you a link.
Yeah. Send that. I want to read that because I love ontology. I love the whole concept of this. The haunting of previous futures,
Hmm.
and I only see that it's growing because I recently checked. Man, those VHS accounts on Instagram, there's like so many of them now, and I
Wait,
remember just like,
really? I never saw any. What is it?
yeah,
What is a VHS account?
just search up VHS. If you just search up just those three letters VHS, you get a bunch of accounts.
Hmm.
And like those kind of they just kind of post like these I don't know what they call them, vibes. Like they give off a vibe, right? But with an like an outlay of the VHS screen, right? So it'd show like the date and the time, right? And it would be kind of a bit grainy, like grainier to go off. They feel like it's in the 90s, or like it's taped like in the 1990s. Even
Oh,
on Snapchat, there is a
oh, yeah.
VHS filter.
Yeah, I'm looking at some of the accounts right now, and yes, there is on Snap. Yeah.
So it's this whole entire thing is getting very popular, and I didn't see this thing in the 80s. Or at least not the same caliber. Um,
Well, you weren't in the '80s.
okay, but there are documents from the 80s. There are stories from the 80s. People lived back then. I've spoken to them. I've seen the culture from
Wait a
there.
sec, wait a sec. Hold on. This kind of reminds me of something. I was watching a video on nostalgia. Right. This is kind of related. Um,
Uh-huh.
I don't like. I understand what nostalgia is, but when I think about it, I can't really remember a
Oh,
time where I was ever nostalgic.
really?
Yeah,
Wow.
that's kind of weird because people talk about it all the time, and like I understand, I guess, but
Well, we kind of have to break it down first because there's a nostalgia for events in the personal life and nostalgia for events outside of your personal life.
right, not yeah. I
So
was watching in the
like
video the
the thing with the VHS, right? That's like
yes
nostalgia for a time
for
when VHS was
yeah
like the go-to form of like taping a video,
yeah. I
right?
forgot what it's called, but it's a different type of nostalgia because there's two. There's like you said, there's the one that's a personal memory, and then there's the other one
Mhm.
where it's like a historical
Wait,
nostalgia.
so you have no nostalgia for the historical or the personal?
Well, neither.
Huh. So that means, well, regarding your personal, that means life just keeps getting better and better. So, or like, not necessarily better and better, but like every aspect of it you perceive to be better than before.
Well,
So
I don't
there's
know. I
really,
don't really think about the past that way. You know what I mean? Because it's like because tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong. Nostalgia is basically when you reminisce about the past, right? About times that you think of fondly.
Right.
I don't know. I just don't think about the past that way. Like I don't, because I think it's not good to dwell. Like I'm not saying nostalgia is negative. I just don't. I don't know.
I don't. Well, you don't think it's good to dwell on the past? I mean, I
Well,
mean, I
that
don't think
sounds
it's good to
weird.
dwell on. I don't. Yeah, yeah. No. Okay. So you gotta kind of like elaborate. Like you don't. You don't. I mean, personally, I don't think it's okay to dwell on the past if it's on some negative event, right? Well, okay,
Right.
maybe not broad, not a negative event, but that does no good for you, right? That you don't hold in. With like savoring that memory is not, if it's not going to do you any good, if it's a negative event that doesn't benefit you in any way, that doesn't give you any good feelings, then I don't think it's any good. I don't think it's worth it, right? I think um, if it's like a positive moment in life, if it implicates some kind of, maybe for example, implicates some kind of growth, right? So like looking back on when you weren't, like for example, when you were lifting only this measly amount, but now be able to lift this much. So that implicates the journey that you went through, the hard work that you put in, right? So of course, in that case, I think it's good to dwell on the past. Um, or
Yeah.
if you're just, or
I agree.
if you're just thinking about, I don't know, for example, maybe when you had. Hmm, so to come up with an example from scratch. But okay. Let's say you have a pet that passed away,
Right.
um, and you're thinking back to all the good days when you had the pet, when the pet was still alive. Yeah,
Wait. Okay.
I think
Wait.
it's a
Hold on a
great
sec.
thing.
Hold on a sec. I just remembered. It might not be. Maybe. See, this is the thing, because I probably do have nostalgia. Most people have nostalgia. So like a lot of the time. Like I think a couple of weeks. Like a couple times every day or something like that, or every week. I don't know. But I forgot the exact numbers. But I don't know if this is the same thing. But I really like cold weather because
Mm.
I
Hmm.
always used to go out. Well, I still do it. But I used to go out. 2 years ago, it went out a lot in the winter, like just exploring. Like you know how we go exploring and stuff.
Right, right.
Yeah, so I would do that on winter nights and stuff. So I like winter nights, and I guess that's part of the reason. But I don't know if I feel nostalgic about it.
Well, it's okay. So you like cold nights because it reminds you of past experiences.
Yeah, well, it's probably one of the
Okay.
reasons why. Yeah,
Yeah, I would say that's nostalgia
yeah, I guess so.
because you're associating that cold weather with an experience in the past. I think that really that fits the essence. But that is a bit off because you're not directly reminiscing about the past, but you're kind of like approaching it from a slightly different angle.
Yeah,
Um,
is that weird?
no, I mean, I think people have all different kinds of nostalgia.
Yeah, I think that's
Um,
true.
a one weird one is I really love watching old commercials.
Hmm.
I love. I remember at one point, right, because I had so much time to waste when I was younger. I'd watch, like, people post all kinds of stuff on YouTube. There's like hour long versions where people, like, it's just all different advertisements, right, from like the year 1998 or like 2006, and sometimes I go to like 2010, right, and I watch some of those commercials. Like, wait, I remember that. I remember that commercial, right? It's like, and it just kind of brings back, kind of brings back that feeling like you're young again, like you're watching that ad again that you watched when you were like 8 years old or 9 years old.
That's pretty
So
interesting. Would you want to do an episode on nostalgia?
yeah, definitely.
Because
So much to
if
talk
we bring
about.
in somebody else, we'll get their what they think,
Yeah,
like what they're nostalgic about. That'd be cool.
because I mean, I don't know. I can't put myself in like perspective, correctly, because I know only myself
Right.
to the
Yes.
to the
Yes.
best extent, right? But I would say that I'm like extremely nostalgic, like not talking about several times a day. I'm talking about several hundred times a day.
Oh wow.
Um, yeah,
Yeah. You know, you're pretty nostalgic. Like,
yeah,
because when we talk or we hang out or something, I know you point out things or whatever, and
Yeah.
you're very involved in the past, like well, not your own past, and it's not a negative thing, but like you like past stuff, like old
Yeah.
music, old aesthetic, obviously with the VHS, etc.
Yeah. But I remember it used to be a lot worse to the point where it was like irrational. I
Really?
remember that I used to place more value on, let's say, even a rock, if I know it was straight from the year of, let's say, 2000. If it was, rather, if it was from the present. I don't. I have no explanation for it. But I just placed a higher value on it because it was from that time, even if it was some inanimate object like a dumb rock. Sorry, rocks.
That's pretty interesting.
Yeah. But
Um,
other stuff like were a bit more obvious. Like I miss Blockbuster so much.
oh
It
really?
was it was a whole experience,
Yeah, I guess
right?
so.
But now you're just sitting on the couch. There's no trip to the Blockbuster, right? Less of the culture is removed. Now you just have Netflix. You click the TV on. You flip a few selections. Boom, you're watching, right? Compared to the whole entire process before, right? Where there it was less convenient, but there was more culture to it, and I think that's the overarching theme with what technology does, because what technology does, it removes human action, the need for human action. That's the general idea of convenience. And the thing is that isn't culture generated by the collection of human actions? No?
The culture is a collection of human actions.
You agree with it?
Well, it's well, I don't know. No, I think like nah. If we want to get into, I don't know if this is semantics. Well, it kind of is because it's the definition of culture. But anyway, I think that the actions kind of stem from the culture because culture is going to be what the society, or what like like an average of what the people in the society value, think
Right.
about,
So it's a
etc.
celebration of some commonality in the actions.
Well, I think the
So
actions stem from the culture.
if you remove the need to do those actions, then the culture is removed. Because I would say that culture is a consequence of the actions.
Okay,
Because
well, I would disagree. I would say the opposite causation.
I mean, okay, we're being a bit broad with human action because
You can continue.
culture.
You can continue. This is just basically semantics. I'm sure we agree like 99%.
Okay, but hold on. Okay, so human action is a bit broad because culture does definitely influence human action. Definitely does influence human action. But how can you have a culture without there being any human action?
Right.
So, okay, we have to somehow kind of categorize this.
Hold on. Okay, so let me write this down over here. So wait, hold on. Let's have another episode discussing this with the
Yeah.
culture.
Oh, ooh, ooh.
What?
Catalyzing actions and consequential actions.
What the fuck? Where'd you get that from?
No, bad words.
You got it from the ether, bro? You came up with that?
I
So
don't know what words. What words should I
wait,
use?
catalyzing and what's the other one?
Like that the actions would catalyze the forming of a culture,
I
right?
understand.
And
What's
then
what's the
and
other
then
one
the
called?
culture, like consequential actions.
Okay.
Like okay, not con. I feel like consequence is a strange word to use, but I use it so much. Um,
Yeah, I think me too. But we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it on another episode. Like we'll
yeah,
go in
but
depth. That's interesting.
yeah, I did actually. Okay, so hold on. No, this is gonna keep bugging me. What can I use instead of consequential? Dependent? No, no, no. I don't know. It doesn't fit right.
All right, let's
All right. We'll go with consequential for now, but we'll
yeah,
tweak it.
exactly. I wrote
Yeah.
it down.
All right. So we'll dive into the this other episode with more clear understand with for more organized understandings of the definitions.
Yeah,
Cool.
and we'll do a nostalgia episode. Um,
Right.
this was pretty interesting. We did not cover uh the summer topics or stuff like that.
Right. Okay.
No, but we'll
About
we'll come back to that in another episode.
Right. Okay, but I did want to say one more thing about summer.
Okay, sure.
Um, so it does. So obviously, it does suck now that because of Corona,
Oh, right.
right? We
Yes,
can't
yes.
we can't go outside. But I think that a lot of the states are starting to open up. Um, I'm personally not an expert because I gotta say I'm kind of living under a rock. I don't look at the news much. So I don't know, Angie. What's your opinion? Or should states be opening up now? Should they just keep closed for a bit more? What do
Well,
you think?
this is going to be pretty controversial. Should we? Do you want to save this for the summer episode?
I thought this was a summer episode.
I know, but we kind of really went off. We really went off. That's
Oopsies.
that's why I'm saying we should do another episode that's about the summer.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Let's
Oh,
both think about it because I want you to come up with an answer because I have basically an answer and I can explain, but come up with something and then we'll discuss it.
okay. But what we can do is to the viewers, what are your opinions? Should states be closed up for a bit longer? Be safe, or should states start opening up because Corona is a scam, supposedly?
Well, yeah, but this is about
I've seen or I've even seen some memes where they call it a fake demic,
yeah,
like
yeah,
fake, and kind of a portmanteau, whatever they're called.
yeah.
Um,
That's right. The support Matu. It's also wait, I don't know. Wait, anyway, yeah, I've also seen Plandemic, like it's a conspiracy,
oh yeah, planned that.
but anyway,
That's clever.
no, yeah, but I know certain
But yeah,
people.
a lot of these people are like, I don't know. It's a risky thing because they're gathering, they're protesting. I
Yes,
don't know.
yeah,
I
exactly.
personally,
Yeah, that's crazy.
personally, I think that this, like, if there's some threat of a virus, even if it was a flu, I wouldn't want to gather with a bunch of other people. If like,
Yeah, I
yeah, like,
agree.
but I mean, personally, I don't think it's. I mean, it's obviously more serious than just a flu. But even if the flu is going around, I wouldn't want to get into huge crowds. I'm not a crowd person in the first place. But
Right.
anyways,
Yeah, wait, but
I think
just one thing about this. The a lot of people have different opinions on it, but it's kind of comes down to ignoring like people who think it's fake or planned or etc. Right? Ignoring that, it kind of comes down to what people value. Because do they value their safety, physically, or do they value kind
their
of,
freedom.
or well, that and also their safety economically.
The thing is, like with what people are complaining about, like what I've seen is that most of these people are complaining about the fact that they can't be out there going to stores and getting haircuts and that type of stuff. But there is another good argument that people are getting drained of all their money, right? All those
Right.
opportunities to work, especially all these small restaurants, small
Hmm.
businesses, right?
If only there was a system that didn't rely on money.
Yeah, exactly.
Question mark.
Right?
Question
And
mark.
what's funny? All these like the billionaires, Jeff Bezos. He didn't he get like $10 billion richer ever since this coronavirus pandemic
I have no
started.
idea.
I don't know. I've seen some alarming statistics. So they're getting a lot richer. All those rich folks from this stuff, and it makes sense. Everyone's using Amazon to get all
Hmm.
their stuff.
True.
So
It just sucks
again,
that. Well, anyway,
we
let's not go into this too much. We'll
right,
definitely talk
right,
about
right.
this again.
Yes,
Um.
definitely. So I hope that the viewers have enjoyed listening to our discussion of quote unquote summer.
Yeah.
More like a bunch of tangents. So thank you for listening, and I hope you join us for the next episode.
And make sure to leave a comment.
Yes, leave a like, comment, do everything possible, subscribe.
Thank you. Goodbye.